Welcome to Voices Episode 8, Season 1 finale. Okay, that's over. Welcome to Voices Episode 8, Season 1 finale. Today we're going to do something different. Today I just thought I would sing all the songs from, Disney and stuff, like starting with The Little Mermaid. I want to be where the people are. I want to see 'em dancing, walking around on those, what are they called? Feet. Up where they walk, up where they run, up where they stay all day in the sun. Wandering free, wish I could be part of that world. Okay, I'm not gonna sing those songs. I was just joking with you. Or maybe I will. Who knows? Who knows what'll happen here? By the way, who am I? I am Jermaine Trice. I am the host of Voices. So this is our 8th episode of Voices. We've had an episode every week for like 2 months, and this is our final episode for this season, season 1. And what I thought I'd do is maybe like a recap of all of the previous episodes. We're not gonna watch every single episode. That would be way too much. But I wanted to do a recap of the previous episodes to basically see what's up. Talk about where we've been and where we're gonna go in season 2. So let's start with the first episode, the very first episode of Voices. Well, the very first episode was interesting, to say the least. Voices episode 1. So the first episode was like, I don't want to say horrendous, but I will say there were lots of technical snafus for sure. Just as you would expect from a live show, especially the very first one. So the first show, we actually had 4 live guests planned, and we ended up just having 1 live guest. But we were lucky, very lucky, that 1 live guest was this person, Heather Schwartz. So she basically saved the show with her with her finger puppets and things like that, with her animals, etc. So thank you very much to Heather Schwartz for basically saving episode 1 of Voices and making me actually want to continue doing this show. And she was so inspirational to me in the first episode that we actually brought her back for episode 2 of Voices. Yeah. So we brought her back as the host. And another thing we did in episode 2 was we decided to, because of all of the technical glitches and such, we decided to have just 1 live guest. So that live guest was the co-host, Heather, who we just spoke of a moment ago. So episode 2 was kind of interesting. So we had a bunch of videos. We had Eileen, Drew, Duana, and Chris CMC doing their videos. And it worked out pretty well with Heather co-hosting and doing the chat about the videos during like right after each one. That was very cool. It was helpful for me because I was doing like all of the technical stuff in the background, so it was very helpful for her to help me out there. Very, very cool indeed. So I wanted to play a quick little clip from episode 2 from our friend Dewana from episode 2, and it is rotated, so let's rotate. The fun of the live show means you have to do things in real time. Okay, it's not perfect, but let's go to Dewana.
Hi, I'm Dewana McCary from Birmingham, Alabama. I grew up in Meridian, Mississippi, where food and culture and everything is so important. I want to share a story about my grandma. My grandma died when she was 98 years old. She was amazing. Her favorite quote was, "Your name will go a lot further than your face will ever be seen." Well, my grandma, growing up in Mississippi, she liked to deer hunt. And at age 89, she killed her first deer with a muzzleloader. At age 90.
So yeah, that was a very interesting story that Dewana sent in. Really liked her watermelon hat as well. So the cool thing about both Heather and Dewana was that prior to doing voices, I did not know them. So they saw the advertisement to be creative, and they answered the call. They said, "Hey, we were going to be creative," so they did. So that's a very cool thing, and that's why we created voices, was really to give a stage to people to share their voice, and it was very cool that she was like, "Hey, I have something to say. I'm going to tell you a story about my grandmother," and she did. So that was one of my favorite moments from episode 2. Um, So let's talk about episode 3. Episode 3. Where are you? Episode 3. I like that's probably my favorite splash screen from Voices. I have a couple of favorites, but at that time, that was my favorite splash screen. I like the image. It's kind of a stock image, and it gets used a lot. I actually saw it on an advertisement for one of my friends' shows, so that shows that it gets used a lot. But that was my favorite, almost my favorite. My second favorite splash screen that was done for Voices. By the way, all of the splash screens for Voices are done by myself. We don't have a staff here at the Improv Place to do like stuff like that. So that was done by me, and so I take pride in each of those. So episode 3 was quite interesting as well because episode 3 brought us more people. So we had a live guest who actually ended up being a co-host as well, Katrina. And episode 3 also brought us something completely different. April actually did a bit of ventriloquism for us. I was like, oh, I didn't think we would have ventriloquists on the show. Never thought of it. She saw again the she saw the flyer or the post for joining, and she's like, yeah, I'll be on that. And so she sent a post. And give me a minute and we will actually play that post. Maybe a minute, maybe longer. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe a minute, maybe longer. Let's find it. Okay, I think I may have found the clip from April that she sent to us to play. And let's give me a second to make it full screen before we bring it over. Again, I thought this was very cool because I did not know April before this, and it was like, oh, she's gonna do stuff here. Okay, cool. So let's bring up April, episode 3, April.
Hi everybody, this is May, and this is April. And we would like to thank the doctors, the nurses, the EMTs, the first responders, and other hospital staff, the restaurant workers, and the janitors, and the truck drivers. Toot toot!
Yeah, so that was probably my favorite clip. It was only 20 seconds, but my favorite clip from episode 3. I actually was also very happy to have a co-host in Katrina, even though she did not plan to be the co-host. She ended up being the co-host of the show. So that was very cool indeed. So thank you very much, Katrina, as well. And if I can find your picture quickly, I will bring your picture up, Katrina. If I can find your picture quick, I will bring it up. Yeah. If I can find your picture quick, I will bring it up. Can't find it. I am so sorry, Miss Katrina, but I cannot find your picture. Oh well, thank you anyways. Thank you very much. Okay, so moving on to episode number 4. So episode 4 comes along. I think I know what I'm doing. I've done this. There's been a bunch of people on the show previously. Mostly people who I did not know ahead of time. So it's like, we're gonna just go for it. It's gonna be so awesome. And the show was awesome, but we didn't have as many people on the show. So that show we had CMC again. CMC, by the way, has been a regular guest of the show. Very, very regular guest of the show. Comes on all the time. He has a something for the show every time. And actually, in episode 3, he had 2 submissions. He had a Voices fan rap that he did, saying, you know, how cool he thought Voices was, and then on episode 4 he continued. So we had Chris, Faustino, and Susan as our 3 people for episode 4, which was pretty cool. Faustino is a music director for Comedy Sports in Vegas. He wrote a song. It was like almost 6-minute song for this, and recorded a video, which was very cool. And Susan did stand up. Susan from Florida. So I would say my favorite part of episode 4 would be Faustino's song. So it was a 5-minute song. I don't think we're going to play the entire 5-minute song, but we are going to do a bit of it if we can pull it up. The song was called Heartstrings, and it was by Faustino. And let's go ahead and, if we can, give it a play.
Met a girl, and she tugs on my heartstrings. And the sad thing is she doesn't know. But my heart doesn't care, it starts ringing. It's believing that there's something more. It's not fair, I don't want to feel anything, to lose something I hadn't before. So for now, oh well, I'll keep on singing while she tugs on my heartstrings. She says a goodbye and she leaves. She slumbers away and she dreams, expecting the valley of the shadow of death, expecting a night full of dread.
So yes, that was Faustino, and he was doing. That was an excerpt from his song "Heartstrings." That was probably my favorite part of episode 4 for sure, and it inspired me to do a song/rap about heartstrings. So that was kind of cool. I really love when guests inspire me, and that was very inspirational. So thank you very much, Faustino, and everyone from episode 4. So, moving on to episode 5. Episode 5, we're just like, whoa, we're gonna do like lots of cool stuff here in episode 5. We're gonna be like Power Rangers, and you know what? We were not Power Rangers. My dream of being the Green Power Ranger was not met on episode 5, even though I had these 5 push pins, here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, to say episode 5. Took a long time to design that. Like I had to take a picture of a cork board and put the 5 pins. No, that was actually an archive picture. Episode 5, we had 3 people, 3 guests. Episode 5 was very interesting. We had a very high viewership on episode 5. And we had 3 guests. CMC, Chris, again, doing rap. We had Gary Wu, talking about what tickles his tush. So yeah, that was very interesting. And we had Adam from Finger Guns Comedy doing a video, which was also very interesting. It was called The Tiger King. So Adam was again a person. Every episode has one or more people that I did not know prior to the episode. Adam was one of them. Gary I know fairly well. Gary does not do comedy, but he actually decided to come onto the show, and he was very, very funny. Who is Gary, by the way? That's Gary. So Gary Wu decided to come onto the show. He's like, yeah, I can do this thing. I have no clue what I'm going to do, but I'm going to just do this thing. I'm just going to come on and do stuff. And I thought that was quite fun. And if we can find it, I'm going to play a snippet from that episode. Episode 5, Episode 5, Episode 5. It's alive. Episode 5. I'm looking for it now. Episode 5. Episode 5. Episode 5. So like I said, Gary had this thing that he was doing that he called What Tickles My Tush. And let's see if we can find a good clip of Gary talking about things that tickle his tush. Okie dokie. Let's see if we can roll it.
So it doesn't quite grind my gears, it just tickles my tush. The second thing that tickles my tush is, I guess, the humans during the COVID pandemic.
Humans.
Even seeing these pictures of people going to the grocery store. There's this picture that really tickled my tush, which is this guy. I think he's at a Walmart or something. I don't know, some grocery store, and he has gloves on with his phone, and he's got mask, people with masks all over him, and he's got the glove in his mouth. He's pulling the off with his mouth, and in this shopping center, in this Walmart or grocery store. Like, come on. Humans during COVID pandemic. It just doesn't make sense. I don't understand.
Humans
Similar line of thought?
Humans don't make sense to Gary, apparently. Humans don't make sense. Well, I'm a human, Gary. Do I make sense? I hope so. Gary's piece was very, very funny. I thought it was especially cool since he doesn't do improv comedy or anything like that. That he wanted to come on the show and be creative. That's why we created the show. We created the show to have people express themselves creatively, however that is. And this was a really good way to do that. So thank you, Gary Wu. Cheers to you. Moving on to episode 6. Episode 6, the Boombox episode, yo. So I thought we were going to go back to the 80s, right? But we didn't go back to the 80s. We just stayed where we were in 2020. Too bad. So that episode was also kind of interesting. So I thought I was going to get this one person, and I ended up getting an entire team who was a roommate who lived together, and Late Night Hump was their name. And they submitted a video, and they were my co-host for that for the entire evening. We also had Hot Dogs Half Off and CMC again on that episode, but it was quite an interesting episode because there was a lot of fun banter going on back and forth. And let's see if we can actually find a good snippet from episode 6. Episode 6. Coming up in just a minute. If we can find it. Oh, here it is. Hey, it says episode 6, man. Can't you raid? Yes, I can raid. I'm just looking forward, okay? Just give me a second while I find oh, here's that episode 6. So I was having a bit of some technical difficulties, and I asked the late night hump folks to kind of stand in for me while I was fixing those problems, and here's what they did.
Do something with that.
Okay.
Yeah, Brendan has a thing with any bit we make him do, he does it. Like, it doesn't... I don't think you've ever not done a bit. What is the strangest bit you've done?
With you guys or ever in my life?
Both.
Alright, so ever in my life was definitely when I convinced this dude that I kind of knew that I was going to rob a Chili's, and he got so nervous that he came over to try to talk me out of robbing this Chili's, and this went on for like an hour.
And for those who don't know Brendan, he's one of the nicest people on earth, so
Yeah.
it's like, that dude did not know Brendan, so he thought he was armed.
He did, yeah. And he's like, Brendan, there are children here, and that's when I was like, man, alright, this bit is done. But with you guys probably eating that leaf, I ate a leaf once. That was pretty crazy.
Yeah, you did.
I've eaten dirt before. For a bit.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Like the same dirt? Like you just like chewed on it for a little while?
Did you swallow?
No, I ate
Did you
I
swallow?
ate different pieces of dirt each time that I did the take for this movie that I was
Oh,
in.
so this was a variety of dirt in your mouth.
Well, I was supposed to taste the dirt and then get signals of the direction that I was supposed to go.
So what did the dirt taste like?
Yeah, how'd it feel?
It told me that I was supposed to go that way. I think that was my quote from the film.
Uh,
Yes. Apocalypse
wait.
Later, directed by Frank Spiro.
Well, you tasted the dirt to know what direction to go in, like as if people lick their finger and put it in the
Yes,
wind,
yeah.
and you're like Sakajuya is just like,
I
yes!
literally ate dirt. Like, I didn't use prop dirt. Yes.
wow, he's method. He's
It was
hardcore.
method acting.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't. Have I done anything that severe with a bit? I don't recall.
You made
Please
me
remind
do
me.
severe things.
Well, yeah, it's more fun watching you guys do it.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not afraid to, that's for sure, but
That's 90% of living together is getting each other to do things that you think are funny, and the other 10% is...
So they said it was more fun to watch each other do it. That's what they said. I'm not like, I don't know. That's just what I heard. That's all I heard. Anyways, it was really fun to have them on. And that was my favorite part of episode 6. Hope to have them on future episodes. I hope to have everyone back on future episodes. So that was my favorite part. Thank you. Late night hump. Okay. Episode 6. Now we're moving on to the last episode that we've had. Episode 7. So this is also a favorite of mine as far as the graphics go. You know, the microphone just kind of laying there like, hey, come on, pick it up. Pick it up. What you gonna do? You gonna pick it up or what? Or you just gonna sit there and watch it? So, you know what? There were a few people who decided that they would pick up the microphone. And we appreciate when people do that. So one was a live guest, not a dead guest, a live guest, Cindy, who again, someone I did not know previously, just like almost all of the shows, and Cindy was live and did a couple of songs. One was an original song, and one was inspired by the pandemic. We had CMC again doing a rap, and we also had Cindy. I'm sorry. We also had Kim. Kim doing some storytelling, and Stephanie also doing some storytelling. So probably my favorite part of episode 7. I'm trying to get a video up. I am looking. Please, someone, help me find my video. Please, someone. Okay. I am making myself a crazy man, trying to make videos work. But videos are not working the way I want videos to work. You know, why can't it be just like in the movies or whatever where someone says, roll clip, and it just happens? Why do I have to do all the work? Huh? People? Why do I have to do all the work? All the frickin' work? And I have to rotate this too? Oh man, this is just so difficult. This is so difficult. I'm gonna complain. I complain about everything, don't I? Tremaine, please stop complaining. Okay, anyways. Now that I am done complaining, let's go to my a clip from my favorite part of episode 7.
Hi, coming to you from my home where I am appropriately quarantined and definitely staying at home. I've seen some different extremes with coworkers, like some people who are taking this COVID crisis super seriously with a shocking intensity, and then some other people who, let's just say that maybe they don't notice that big of a difference in their life. So on the one extreme, I have a coworker, when we were told that we would be working from home, she went to the grocery store the only time that she's been in public in the last 7 weeks, and she apparently stocked up on kale. Poor planning on her part? Maybe. Or exactly the opposite if, I guess, all you want to do is eat kale, because she hasn't gotten any grocery deliveries. She hasn't gone to the grocery. She went home. She made kale, froze kale, and is eating kale constantly every
Kale. So yeah, there was a lot of kale there. And so I actually happen to really like kale. Not enough to buy 25 pounds of kale or anything like that, but I really like kale a lot. And I liked kale before it became fashionable or anything like that. There is a restaurant in the DC area called, what is it called? Elizabeth's Gone Raw. So that restaurant is a vegan raw restaurant, and they have these awesome kale chips there. Very cool stuff. I just thought I'd share that. So that was my favorite moment of episode 7, which was our last episode. Pretty cool. Thank you, Kim, for being on our show. So some of you may be thinking, hey, you have Chris CMC on your show all the time. He's always on the show. He always has a rap for the show. How come we didn't see any raps from Chris CMC here on the show? What's going on? You're giving highlights and you didn't highlight Chris. What the heck? Okay, so we're going to do that right now. So Chris sent in another video. Chris has gone through the Freestyle Love Supreme Academy rap training. And this was one of the first raps he wrote when he was at the Freestyle Love Supreme Academy. So let's roll the clip, yo.
FLS Academy Fall 2019 class. Thank you so much for the last 2 weeks. This is Chris, aka CMC, with a couple of bars for you guys. The FLS Academy just just throw my hat at me. This wasn't expected, so glad I got accepted and not detected. There will be no sharp hater. Beatboxing, keep dropping, Sarah's Darth Vader. The shit is far greater than I ever could have guessed. My I swear and I swear you better bring every guest to a class performance. Get my hat to 4 minutes, and I saw the Play-Doh next to the raw potato. Better stay back, jazz, and that jazz is for you all. Do the diabetic, try the medic. You good, you've all? A Benedict like Benedict. I'm making vile. I fucking need the owl, and I love the Nate and Kyle. You may need the camera. I'm making the jamera. The beatboxing tricks me wanna keep watching Chris. I'm the Black Panther, hat banter. I'm into leopard. Such a blast, a touch up lads with Linda Leonard. I could do a couplet, but why not doublet? The shit's gourmet. I see a blank page and irate to skip the foreplay. Shit's my forte. With no hip hop, my brain is severed. That's how the pain is measured. Never give the faintest effort. My pen's my knee tool. Right me tool? Frank a damn hell. And TJ's my DJ. A block from Danielle. And my damn yell can pierce skulls. And here's goals. I wanna pack synonyms, actadonyms, lactatonyms, rap demonums. The shit's a gift, man. I wanna meet the limb, man. Wanna meet the whole collection. Now you see my whole confession. The fucking beat's my sole obsession. And then I use Velcro. Numb to show it show. And then just choose Alvaro. It's only been 2 weeks, but I've been loving you new peeps. You're coming there who geese. I'm getting started with loose sleeves and I lose sleeps. I'm up a fucking night just writing this. There's just no fighting this. I cuss in spite of this. I kinda miss and find a pint of miss. I kinda miss wanna hear the shit in Islam. And just ask his mom. Like Becca, try Becca. No, we're on Barrow Street. Chewing on marrow meat where the fucking pharaohs meet. I work fast in her class, jumped in head first. I got things rolling like my name is Fred Durst. Ain't even reached my peak yet, still in first place. Being too weak to speak, man, that would be the worst case. So here's my blurb beat, but again I'm her geek. In case you didn't heard me, I gotta miss the 3rd week.
That was Chris, CMC, with his Freestyle Love Supreme Academy song. Let's see if we can find a picture of Chris that we can show you here. Let us bring up picture of Chris, CMC. Yo. That wasn't cool at all. Okay, so I can be cool sometimes, but maybe not this time. Maybe another time I'll try to be cool. I don't know. You know, the world is the world. So that brings us to nearly the end of the show. Voices, episode 8. So season 1 finale. This is the last show of season 1. And season 2 will be starting in June on a new day and time. So in June, season 2 will be starting on June 6th, which is a Saturday. The time is to be determined, but it'll probably be earlier so that we can accommodate our international guest as well. Yeah, totally. So we will definitely be coming back to you soon. Voices returns on June 6th. Season 2. I'm typing. Season 2 returns June 6th. Okay, let's make it happen. Let's make it happen. There we go. Yay! Season 2 returns June 6th. So we will have a slightly new format for Voices in Season 2. We hope to have some of our previous guests back on the show. We hope to have new guests as well. And we look forward to seeing you again when we come back. Thank you very much, and have a wonderful evening.